Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is one of my one-day landscape videos. I did one of these in the fall. There's going to be a lot of them coming up this spring. This is a friend of mine's house. It's new home construction, and they put 4 needlepoint hollies in the back of this row on the front foundation. These will get 8 or 10 feet tall over time. They're just not appropriate plants for a front foundation like this. They're good screening plants, and I'm going to repurpose them into the backyard for that. Then there's 3 gold mop cypress right here in the front, and these can get 6 to 8 feet in height as well. They might work okay on this back row right here, but I'm going to repurpose those for the same screening job in the backyard. You know, I asked what they would want out here, and the response was, we do no maintenance, and that's fine. If you know that about yourself, totally fine. So the plants I'm putting back in here will require basically no maintenance. I took some plants out of my garden center as I was closing it down that I had used on some planting jobs there, and so I'm repurposing those plants here as well. So we're doing a lot of recycling today, taking this material right here and turning it into screening plants in the backyard and material that I had at the garden center going in its place. So I'll show you where these pieces are going to go, and a couple other pieces that are not in a good spot that I have to move as well, and then I'll show you the pieces that are going in. So here's another thing that the builder's landscaper did. These are 3 recurve ligustrum here, ligustrum recurvifolium. They'll get about 20 feet tall, and they were put here to surround this air conditioning unit. They'll eat this air conditioning unit. So I'll come up with something here on the next job I do for this space to go around this air conditioning unit that would be more appropriate. And I've also got a job going around this deck. That'll be the next video you see from this one-day landscape series. But for today, I'm just going to go ahead and get these ligustrum out of here before they're too well anchored, and go ahead and get them on this back line along this fence. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels here, and I've got 4 needlepoint hollies, 3 gold mop cypress, and I've got those 3 ligustrum recurvifolium. So I'll lay those out on that back line back there, and over time most of those pieces will end up much taller than this fence and create an additional screening for this backyard. They used a pine bark mulch right here, so I'm not worried about it getting mixed into the ground. Pine bark's not an issue if it gets mixed in, but if it was hardwood mulch or pine straw or something like that, I'd be super careful and pull it way back before I started digging these plants out so it doesn't end up falling in the hole. These have only been in the ground for about 6 months, so if I pull this mulch back a little bit from the base of this plant, these should pop out super easy. Watch it not after I say that. Yeah, they're just coming out basically intact, just like they were planted pretty much, just like when they came out of the pot. They've rooted in a little bit, but not very much. So there's that gold mop cypress popped out of the ground. Like I say, it came out just like it had come out of the container. I'm going to go ahead and remove all 7 of these pieces exactly the same. Almost no work to this one. If they had been in here for longer, obviously this would be real work, but after only 6 months, this is no big deal. And then I'm going to go lay them out on that back line and see how we want to arrange them. So like I said, these popped out super easy everywhere, even the ligustrum. You know, 6 months in the ground is all. One thing you have to keep in mind when you're transplanting something like this, I'm transplanting it in the middle of April, and that recurve ligustrum, I'll show you in just a second, that ligustrum recurvifolium has a ton of new growth on it, and I just did root damage to it, so I'm going to actually take some of that new growth off of it after it goes in the ground. I may take as much as about 20% off the top of that plant to kind of correct the fact that I did substantial amount of root damage to it. So you can see all this new growth on this ligustrum right here. After it gets planted, well, like I say, I'll take about 20% of this plant off the top just to make sure that I compensate for the damage that was done to the roots. I'm just going to lay them over real quick. It is a cool morning here in April, and so I've got all these laying right here. They're about to go in the ground right now. If I was doing this job in June, and I wouldn't hesitate to do this job in June, I would have done 1 piece at the time. I would have brought 1 piece back here, planted it, and then moved to the next one and the next one, so on and so forth. But being that it's a nice cool morning and it's in the shade, except for that upper corner up there, right there. Down here, it's all in the shade. And so I've got some time here where the sun's not gonna be hurting these roots. There's 4 posts on the fence along this back line, and so each of those posts has a needlepoint holly, and in between each of those is a gold mop cypress, and on the end is the ligustrum curvifolium at the bottom, ligustrum curvifolium at the top. All of these pieces will get quite large. The gold mop will get about to the height of the fence, probably, and then the needle points will get maybe 2-3 feet taller than this fence, and those recurvifolium ligustrum can get 15 or 20 feet tall if they're allowed to, and it should create a nice barrier on this back line, and any future house that goes behind this fence, help screen that out a little bit and be a noise buffer. It's a little loud in here. It's a big open block inside the city. Okay, so I want to show you where the wood on this ligustrum recurvifolium meets the original soil, where it was in the pot originally. We want to make sure that we still see that after we get these planted, and that we raise this up, a little bit above the grade along this fence line. Where they were planted over there by that air conditioning unit, they were planted kind of flush, and the mulch had ended up about this high on them. Not going to hurt these ligustrum. Ligustrum you could probably bury them in the mulch and they'd be okay, but other plants definitely, we definitely don't want to be burying any of this wood over time. So excuse any noises you're hearing. There's mowers and things all around me, and this is right in the middle of the city. But this back line turned out great. I had the perfect number of pieces to create this, what will be a sound and a visual buffer. And these plants are now in the appropriate place for them to just be allowed to grow and get bigger. These dwarf Burford hollies here will be allowed to flower and berry, and they're just absolutely loaded with berries even now. They were on that front foundation. They'd almost certainly have had to have been cut off at some point during the year. The plant would have had to have been cut drastically every year. Again, nothing down here at the base of this plant has been covered up. It's right at the original line where that wood entered the ground. They're elevated just a little bit. All I'm going to do back here is put a little bit of mulch around each plant. Wouldn't matter what it is: pine straw, hardwood mulch, pine bark, mini nuggets, whatever you want to use, brown mulch, black mulch, red mulch, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to put a little bit around each plant because I have several jobs to do here that I'm going to be showing you. And when I finish the last of these one-day landscape jobs that I'm doing here, I'm going to mulch everything, and so it'll all be uniform when I leave this project behind. But like I say, for today, I'm just going to put a little bit of mulch around each plant to make sure that the mulch does what mulch does, which is regulates the water, prevents weeds from coming up around the plants, and prevents the sun from damaging the roots. So there it is, lightly pruned. I'm going to have to water these in really, really well. And like I say, I've reduced the roots on them, so I'm definitely going to have to keep a close eye on the watering. But I will let this soil become slightly dry. I may even let something like this ligustrum wilt a little bit before I water it, and then when I water it, I'll just flood this space and then let it become slightly dry again, or almost dry again. And then again, I'm going to do the exact same thing on these needlepoint hollies right here. I'm just going to take, they've already put on, like I say, about 6 inches of new growth. No way these damaged roots are going to be able to support that. So I have these baby Jim boxwoods for the back row right here, basically to replace those needlepoint hollies, and they'll only get into 3 to 4 foot height range right here instead of 8 to 10 or 10 to 12. And I've got 4 of those. Since these were transplanted from the garden center, I repotted them into these containers, and there's some loose pine bark mix in these containers, so I'm not going to need to mix anything in with this. But if I was just pulling them directly out of a pot that they had rooted into, I would use some pine bark soil conditioner, 50-50 with whatever the soil that comes out of this. They mulched with pine bark, like I said, and so I'm not worried about any of this pine bark getting in the hole at all. I typically don't mulch with pine bark on the top because it floats, and I can see right here, from several rains where it's tried to float out of this bed. This is pine bark mini nuggets is what this was. Okay, the next thing I've got is 3 Miss Lemon Abelia right here. These are only going to get 2 to 3 feet in height. and they're gonna go centered on these baby gem boxwoods right here. Really just no maintenance on those whatsoever. Then on the corner right here, I'm extending this bed a little further than it originally was. I'm putting a sunshine ligustrum right off the corner here that'll just be in a pyramid shape eventually. The last thing I have for this job is some of these evergreen Stelladora daylilies. These are really, really neat and truly evergreen. They're repeat flowering daylilies just like Stelladoras, but these are evergreen versions of them. And so they will stay green right here on this corner. Right there, I've got 7 of them total. I might put a couple on this other end. Yeah, I think that's actually what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna put 3 on this end. So I got it trench edged right there. I just used my trenching shovel, and straight lines normally aren't my protocol. It looks a little ragged right here, but that's actually just mulch laying on that side where there's no grass. It's not my normal protocol to have straight lines like this, but the way that sidewalk comes in right there, and when you have people telling you they really just don't want to do any maintenance, that straight line is perfect. It's perfect for the lawnmower, and then a nice curve around the other side of that sunshine ligustrum where the mower can just, keep on going right around that trench. I'm going to go ahead and get these plants in the ground, and like I say, I'm not going to be adding anything to them because there's loose soil. I'll show you this in this container right here. There's actually quite a bit of loose pine bark in there that's going to get mixed in, but that's the material that I would have used, is pine bark soil conditioner, pine bark fines, ground up pine bark. But I could also use compost, would be another thing I would use. I tend to shy away from using peat moss in the ground. It tends to hold too much water, especially in my area of the state of North Carolina. So this is the rocks that came out of just these few holes that I dug on this foundation, and I got all the grass clumps and everything from where I had edged it. But all these pieces are in now. It's very, very bright out here now, but I think everything in this bed looks good. I cleaned up the trench edge here. I'm going to put out just some bark for today, just some more pine bark mini nuggets, and then like I say, I'll do the mulch uniform after that. But overall, this looks pretty good. One thing I need to say on all of these little landscape jobs I'm doing is you need to get your lines located, all your cable and electric, and call the locating service and make sure you know where all your buried lines are. This is in an old established neighborhood, and the lines are still above ground, so it's not something I had to worry about on this job, but it is something you need to think about when you're doing landscaping at your house. So you can probably tell now how bright and sunny this space is. I got lucky this morning and it was cloudy, but now it's just absolutely being blasted. This whole operation, moving these plants to the back, going and getting some few bags of mulch, and then bringing these plants that I already had. I would have had to shop for them if I didn't have them, so that would have been added to the time. I'm about 5 hours in. Those plants were easy to get out. Obviously, if they'd have been anchored in the ground for 2 or 3 years, this project would have been very different. But I think it could have still been done in a day, in all likelihood. Again, make sure you're getting your lines marked. This is a south and east facing house. It's kind of angled in here where it's just getting absolutely blasted. The shade will start to come from the house this way. These abelia are sitting out here far enough. They really like the sun. They're going to cook until at least 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon every day. The boxwoods would be more adaptable to light conditions. That sunshine ligustrum is going to be in the sun all day long. That's right where it wants to be, and you get the best color on it in the full sun. All of these pieces are Southern Living Plant Collection pieces. I've got a video on every plant that you've seen in this project, the pieces that I moved to the back along that fence and right here on this foundation, except for these evergreen Stelladora daylilies, and I'm going to do a video on those later this summer. I got 3 of those in. Last year they sent me them, and I never got to use them on a project, and then they bloomed all summer long on my driveway at my house, and then I used them. These are the ones that were from the garden center project, and they stayed evergreen out there all winter long. So somebody says it's an evergreen daylily. I'd never seen it before, and so now I have some experience with them. They are in fact evergreen daylilies. This is about as tall as they'll ever be. The flowers will start to come up here in a few weeks, and these are repeat blooming daylilies, so they'll continue to put up new flowers occasionally during the summertime. So I think that's everything for this little bit of this project. They will, like I say, there was going to be at least 2 more one-day landscape jobs at this house, and then I will uniformly mulch everything, probably with like triple shredded hardwood mulch is what I'll end up using. Thank you very much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for upcoming content.